because I apparently lost mine.
Do we have the new agenda?
These trees are never in here.
Yeah, you can give him that.
Over there? Thank you. I have the concrete ordinance,
Thank you.
I have the bulk water. And then we were gonna discuss the Roy's Drive-In. And,
You're going to copy in it first.
There's an extra concrete ordinance out up there into if you're
this is,
in front of the house.
I think, June, or Linda's got it.
Cross off the L.
Do you want to come back up here?
Cross off.
I'm perfectly happy. with
It's already
this.
crossed.
We could switch.
Aren't we, Jill?
Put it on there by mistake.
My pen, too. This one's bad.
Need a pen?
Please,
I think there's one in here.
thank you. Okay, you ready? You're ready there, all right?
Yes.
Okay. Roll call, we're welcome to Hermosa Town Board Special Meeting Tuesday, June 28th, 2022 at 6:20. With that being said, we appreciate the P&Z Board as well as the Town Board both being here for this special meeting. Roll call, Hendrickson is absent. Holzer is here, Kramer,
Here.
Schumach,
Here.
Thomason. Here. Thomason.
Thank you.
And then we have Joan, we have Chuck, we have,
Lon's
what was
over
your
there
name?
hiding.
Lon.
One of the shadows over there.
Appreciate Gail being here, Jill being here, and then we have one audience member, Connie. So with that being said, we appreciate everybody here. Call for changes, if there's none, motion to accept the agenda is written.
So moved.
Schumach makes that motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Thomason. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried, thank you. Work session items. Item number 1 is the concrete ordinance. If everybody had the opportunity to review it, I guess there was some stuff here that I appreciate Joe bringing that concrete for construction of all sidewalks, curbs, driveways, and slabs on public right-of-ways within the town limits of Hermosa shall be constructed using an industry standard mix with type 2 cement. The concrete aggregate mixture shall contain minimum of 50% coarse aggregate by weight, and the mixture shall contain at least 600 pounds of cement per cubic yard, and a minimum 28-day compressive strength shall be 4,000 psi, or approval equal is what she had mentioned.
That is Leah's condition.
Correct.
Everything.
And then when I went through it on your next page at the top where it says B, excavate soil to required depth of 10
Okay,
inches.
No, I'll go use that one, so we're all on the same page. That's the most current version right here.
With Mitch's? With Mitch's,
Yeah,
yeah.
that just, that way it's numbered.
Yeah.
Mitch did all the numbering, and it's a little, more sections than we had, but we had some things lumped together that he separated, which is great. He did a good job on that. And then her addition of that paragraph. And there was a couple typos, different little things like that have already come out, so it'll just be loud as you.
So that's not the copy I have.
Just so you know, I compared them word for word, and they are identical except for the numbering. There's more sections.
Okay, so your 150.8.02, in that where it says removal of 10 inches below subgrade, that's a very difficult situation in all the years that I've done concrete too. If it's virgin ground and you're removed, there's no reason that you want to do that because it actually create more of a problem. And usually when you remove even a standard virgin soil, the maximum you're going to do is 6 inches, Out of that, bring in 2 inches of base course, and then from there, then you'll apply your rebar or mesh, or now fibercrete is what they have on that base if you're going to come back with your concrete barriers. So,
Did you compare it then with our subdivision ordinance?
and that was my other comment, was our subdivision ordinance as far as if it read the same way. I did not have that, so we need to compare that to see if our subdivision ordinance does, because all of what's in here for the curb portion of the construction also is in the subdivision portion of it, as well as the driveway construction. And I like the aspect that we have both, because if they're not doing a subdivision itself and they're going to do some curb repair or any of that other aspect, it's in here. And that way we're covered on both sides, so I like that part of it. The rest of it, as far as cure time and what Leah put in here, she is matching up to the 4,000 pound concrete portion of it. In here for our days of cure on what was already in the other one are also gonna match up. Normal 7-day on a driveway, sidewalk, any of that other situation. Normally on a sidewalk, you're walking on it the next day. Then you're stripping forms and everything else. Driveways, you wait 7 days, strip forms within that period, and then go from there. So the comparison of what we have here is good. Strength of concrete is good. The only other difference is the 4,000 pound. The maximum we had in here was 3,000 PSI. She's recommending 4,000, so we could change them couple. Pure vent caps, abutment and sill.
Let me just say that, I don't know how we can do this without having the subdivision ordinance in front of us, because they have to mirror each other.
Yep.
If we change one, we have to change the other. Although there's stuff here that is not in the subdivision ordinance, such as one of those things would be your surface finishing, probably your permit requirements, a few things like that. On 2 different occasions, we had people attend our meeting that gave us input on what they felt should be in the cement ordinance. And it was all very good information, and we did our best to include that.
Yeah.
But some of those things are not in, so I don't see how we can do it without a copy of the subdivision ordinance.
Yep, so we'll do that. The item 8 on the last page also is another one that we're gonna have to, that needs to just be changed in this one, and I'm thinking.
Application of commercial texture.
Where's he at?
Permitting requirements.
Requirements is what I'm under. And it reads, you know, what it needs to read is it needs to go to P&Z, then board.
Yeah, I read
Then
that, it said
engineers,
something about
staff.
inspector and
Right.
engineer, and it eliminated the P&Z and the BOT.
Town engineer
So,
upon
yeah.
receipt shall give it to the town inspector, which our town inspector, of course, doesn't apply in that part. So that whole paragraph needs to be changed to read that it goes to P&Z, then goes to the board, as what our building permit does, and then engineer, staff, and then they will go to inspector.
And it doesn't even have to say to the engineer, because that's an automatic thing.
She's gonna review it,
P&Z,
staff it, and
I mean,
come back.
It doesn't necessarily have to even say it in your ordinance.
So if we just change that paragraph to read that, that'll be about it. But I agree, if we dig the subdivision out, we can go through that and mirror it and have that where we can come back to this on the concrete ordinance to make sure.
Because if we start if we change one, I mean, maybe, and, you know, maybe it already is that way in the other one, we don't know.
I know, I was gonna try to get that and
But
read
they
that.
can't read it for us to do that, because they're out of ink, so we'll just have to wait.
And I do have a question in here on this. Nowhere did I see, maybe I just missed it, but if somebody's just taking out an existing sidewalk and replacing it, if it already had all the base down, are they still going to have to dig down and redo that base, or can they just go ahead and reuse it? I didn't see where there was anything in here about that.
That's probably in our sidewalk ordinance, though.
Okay.
Seeing, and most of them that's why I didn't feel that we wanted to change anything in here, because it'll be a review process if they go to remove it. Most times when you remove it, everything deteriorated underneath of it, or it's dipped or settled, or where you want to bring that back up, or you want to have a little bit of overdig. When the city, all the city sidewalk that we've done over the years, when we redid that, you had to overdig by their spec by 2 inches, and then bring it up to base course. Then you were able to move ahead and go from there. So we could probably move this where,
I think a lot of different places in here, you know, when it's questionable, it says as per inspector's recommendations. So there again, you know, if you were unsure, the inspector would look at it and give you the right direction.
Okay, I just didn't know if it needed to be in here or,
And we can
because I
add,
didn't see
and we
anything,
can add
so
that
I.
again too, but let's see how much of that's already in the sidewalk.
and
There's some repair in there.
it can be put on the very end of it, that if anything is of question at the end of the ordinance and you want to have a review in the application process, that we have as boards or engineer the ability to review and waive requirements within the ordinance.
Well, it does say on here, you may appeal any decision as per the town of Hermosa's appeal process.
Yeah.
I think if you just put in there that, you know, that, like Dan was saying, for the inspector, because he's gonna know if it's dipped down, then yeah, you need to back it some more, or you need to, if it's that bad, you're gonna have to take it all out.
And I think we could probably put that under permitting requirements, because it's already under a lot of other things. But we
Good.
could add it to the end of permitting, you know. On questionable circumstances, have the inspector
Correct.
look.
Correct. Or engineer. You know, the engineer is gonna be the one that's gonna go and review it before
Right.
in the application. So if anything needs to be reviewed by the engineer for a staff report,
Yeah, but if you,
And this is just to cover like anything that does not deal with subdivisions or sidewalks, because we already have our separate ordinances for those.
for subdivision, correct.
Correct, and sidewalks, we have one for sidewalks. as
So
well.
once we read that, then it may be good for everybody to get a copy of that.
Yeah.
And then we can all review that subdivision ordinance.
Yeah.
And then that way we have clarity within every board member. And there may be other examples in there that we can, per different usages or extenuating
Yeah.
circumstances, it can be waived.
Why not review both
Pardon?
subdivision and sidewalk?
I would like to do that.
What's that?
Why
well,
not
this-
review-
the cement portion of the subdivision ordinance is quite short. I mean, unless you're
Okay.
talking about the whole, it's not even as lengthy as this. But
That's
everything that's in it is in this,
okay.
except for a few diagrams. And I asked you guys for more diagrams.
And there's more detail about finishes and that type of thing in this one
Yes.
than there is
Okay,
in our subdivision.
Whatever's in the subdivision is already in here,
Yep.
correct.
but then we've added stuff to
Okay.
I know I have a lot of stuff to review.
it. Yeah, and like I said, you can find that online and look
So-
at them simultaneously too, see what, you know, what's different and what isn't.
I reviewed for months all of our ordinances, just so that I knew what I was talking about when I started. So yeah, there's a lot.
So what we basically want to do then too is this paragraph that ACES sent us, that we add that in
Yeah,
to our
definitely.
table, what show the requirements are.
And you'll notice on the table too, that table that's in there too, you want to change that figure to 1,1,8 something, and it's the only one in there.
Who's doing the revisions?
Pardon?
You are? No?
We will, you know,
I've worked on this thing every weekend for weeks, give me a break here.
well, we're focused
I
now
really,
is-
honest to God, I don't have time right now. I'm gonna be going into budget
I
meetings
can
and,
work on it, and you'll just send it in Word also, so.
okay.
Well, and if
Because
we
I'm going
each-
into budget meetings in
But
next,
there's nothing to do until we have the other one.
Right, once we have the subdivision, we'll have another special meeting, and come back in.
Okay.
Or do it in amongst the board after they've had some time to read the subdivision ordinance.
Okay,
And then we can make clarifications, changes, and then merge
You
it
can run home
together.
and print the subdivision if you want, I mean, it's only
Pardon?
3 pages or something.
Right.
How big is the sidewalk one?
Oh,
Well,
it's
what
short
is-
too.
Yeah. So
Would you
that's,
mind printing one of each of those up for me? I don't have internet right now.
well, we'll just have copies for everybody, and then they can pick them up.
You want to just hold off on that?
Of that segment of the
at the next
subdivision.
meeting, at the next planning and zoning meeting, or what?
That would be good,
What am I
and we're
missing?
both boards again.
Okay,
That gives us plenty of opportunity. Is that good with everybody?
Yep.
I like that. Okay, so that'll be pending until the next P and Z. Next item is the bulk water rates. As we were going through these and situations on them, the prices are starred on your copy on the bottom, or they are on mine anyway, as I'm special. And then they've also put in here the Gregory, Spearfish, Hill City, rates on what they charge, then what their fines, violations are, and what they have for their initial aspects. And then they put in what their taps are and that type of thing, like Hill City, there is a good review on all of that. My feeling and looking at it, I think everything should double. I'm really, with what we invested in our lower bulk water pump well, and then we're finishing up with the meter, we want to invest in a backflow preventer. That way we're all staged and set up. Bulk water down there, we don't need the backflow
No,
preventer.
we don't, we
because-
got checked off.
But if we do anything up here, normally they'll bring their own backflow preventer.
No, they don't.
Well, Iron Horse did.
Yeah,
and
that's been
Mainline
over there,
does.
Mainline brought this one and left it so far. And everybody's been using it, but we should have one there.
Correct. So that's gonna be one of our purchases. I don't know if we ever priced one. We were gonna look at DSG and give them a jingle on that.
I didn't know that, I'll check it out.
Yep, I would appreciate that, and that way you can see what it's gonna be. Because I think our meter was a 2-inch, so we probably wanna price a 2-inch backflow.
Yeah, everything we're doing down there is 2-inch.
Yeah,
Okay,
So-
so,
not down here, but off the hydrant. If we're coming off the hydrant, what are the main line, are they doing a
that's the
3-inch?
heading
No,
for
it's
this
2 inches
column.
long. I think 2-inch works for just about everybody.
Yeah,
What's-
If they don't, I have
Well,
producers
it
down at
says
the well house.
bulk water,
that they can
2,000
ask me
or
for.
$100. And then over here it says $10 per thousand. Does that mean it's $100 and then $10 for 3,000 after?
mm-hmm, correct.
And my one change on this that I seen was on between the bulk, or the untreated and the treated water. I thought the treated water ought to be at least a little bit more
yeah,
to help convince people to go ahead and make sure that they notify us and they get it from down there and we're not using treated water for dumping on the ground.
yeah, that's why I figured it needed to double on the treated, than where we're at on that side.
Now, are all the hydrants in town treated? or
Yes,
They are all treated.
Right.
So,
Then,
So the only thing untreated is down there?
right.
yeah. And you've got the meter in yet or not?
Yeah, no, I haven't had a chance to get it in. I've got to read
And then
the
Brett was
electric
gonna
company.
put the keypad in.
We've been
Yes,
talking.
I will be putting that in once we purchase one.
Then we got a number on that yet?
No,
And then the other thing is we've still got to figure out the gate,
The what?
how to open and close the gate.
Wow.
Brett was thinking that it shouldn't be that expensive to go ahead and just get one card reader right there and it would use the same card and swing the gate open at the same time.
Oh, put an electric gate in?
basically, yeah. I'm doing pricing and all that. My big thing was just figuring out exactly how many people usually we have, and so I know exactly how many cards. 'Cause you buy the system and then you buy the cards as well.
Cause I know, two of the gentlemen that used to own Overhead Door did a lot of them, and Jeff Doyle, or Jeff Neal, I'm sorry, still, him and his son-in-law do that type of thing. I was gonna do one in my office, and they talked me out of it because there is the maintenance to them that is, can be bad. So that's why they talked me into going to roller gates instead. They gotta get out and unlock that gate, no big deal. Open it with a roller gate and roll it back. You know, it's less maintenance, and in the winter time, if you have a problem, and that's more of the action problem is in the winter time, that you actually.
Right. And then, you know, the first idea that I had about that was just to put in, because we've got 2 padlocks on the chain now. We just put a 3rd one in there. When they get issued their key card, they can get a key to that padlock. And then they can just open the gate for themselves. And then, you know, one number the key and everything, so they got that one, and it costs them so much if they lose it, you know, whatnot.
Yeah. I think that would be better, just a roller, specifically for the gate, having just a roller gate.
Right.
Now for the lock, I think it would be good to just have a card to use.
You put a key pad or something on there.
Yeah, or do that, basically.
Something in a locking system on that part, or, I don't know, padlock wise, otherwise it's go to a code on the padlock or the digital,
Yeah.
the number system.
Well, the reason we want to do this is because it's cheaper to get this lock versus installing an entire camera system in there.
Right.
So, I mean, trail camera is good to have, but with this, you assign a specific code to a specific individual. That way you know exactly what time they opened it and closed it.
Yeah.
There is no question, basically.
And if we get a fence coming down to the pump house, and then just fence going across, so there's enough of a circular driveway.
And that's, yeah, I was thinking of that the other day. If I do that, then I've got to move the piping out further, which is going to be more pipe and more materials. Because the overhead, I have to have some way to support that. Right now, it's up against the building.
Yeah, and we don't need, we can leave the building exposed, and just come to the corner of the building, and then take off from the corner of the building and block the pole barn off.
Just
And just
turn
do
the pipe the other
them
way.
2 segments for now. And then that'll leave them enough of a radius.
Right.
Then eventually, if we wanna do the rest of the radius around, we can. And we just put another gate in, so if we need to get any of the material that's in there, we can.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I can just turn it off the corner of the building, and that'll give me my support.
Straight to the gate. And then come down over to the pole barn and fence that off, so.
So if
gotta-
we're buying a new roller gate, we can use the old gate
Right,
to
in
get in-
another spot.
in another spot that's getting fenced
Of course,
off.
that's just a cattle gate.
Yeah,
And we've
that's-
got gates down there though
Yeah.
too.
Yeah,
And we
there-
bought,
we've
when we
got
bought
gates
all that
down
from
there, I
Hot
don't know what they
Springs.
are.
So we do have other
So-
gates and other posts and all of that.
Yep.
And I wanna utilize that fence. I'm
We've
sorry.
got it.
And all of my yard is all been used fence that we put up with the big beam striped posts.
The fencing companies just complain about using used fence, because it does add a little bit more labor, but they make more money off the sale of the new fence than
Most
anything
all of
else,
this
so-
stuff is rolled up in a
Yep.
decent way. It's not like it's kinked, and this was the good heavy wire that was like from the missile silos and stuff that they had fenced that they took down.
Yep.
So it's not like it's the cheap residential stuff that
Right.
tangles. So I think that's the direction I would go, but on the cost, then, feelings of each person on them, on the treated, I feel it should go to 200. And then I think on $10 per, it should be 20 per. And then on the bulk water treated under 1,000, I think that should go to 100 and then 20. Then bulk water untreated, I think should go to 80, and then at minimum, I don't know, $10 per 1,000.
Just
that's
go
still-
20 out here.
Yeah.
That's per month, that
Be right back.
plus
I'm going to my car.
Pardon?
I'll be right
That,
back.
that's a
Okay.
monthly fee, like the 80, or is that a one-time fee?
Untreated for 1,000 gallons or more, that's a one-time fee,
Oh, just
$80
one.
bucks
So like when a contractor's working here, it's only 80 bucks until.
per fill-up.
Yeah, okay. Oh, per fill,
Yep,
okay. All right.
yep. You know, to keep track of it, it's 1,000 gallons for the girls.
When is that gonna take effect, or when are we doing
It's like-
What's that?
it? When are we gonna do that?
Well, that's
Change the
my
prices.
next statement is, we've got all these cable contractors here now that Jill has put together the application for bulk water users. And that was, I think, in here to review too. Did everybody know? Okay. But that was in our packets. But I don't feel that we can like give them notice and go into effect until the end of July on them, to be fair. And then go with them rates from that point is what my feelings were. You know, if we'd have known even like what we had on the inspections of all of this stuff, we would have built in a user fee on that for each one of them cable companies, that the first 5 were free, and then after that it's 50 bucks a pop for whatever time
I'll
you've got
find most of
involved.
it there.
Okay,
If you're missing something, she can prepare for later.
okay, thank you.
So what do you think? Jerry?
I'll go for it.
Linda? Brett?
Good.
I got one more thing on there to add, I guess, and that would be a deposit for the card and key.
Well, that's why we're waiting on costs, to see what we're gonna have involved in that. You know, we talked about that briefly with the girls and doing a deposit too, and there has to be.
Oh, yeah.
You know, whether you make that 50 bucks for a deposit on that, and then you get your card back.
Well, yeah, and I think we should wait on that until we figure out exactly how much everything's gonna cost us
Correct.
first.
Right.
Because then we could, there's no sense of putting a dollar limit on it right now if we don't even know how much it's gonna cost.
Yeah.
And in a motel, what do you have for a deposit that they charge you there if you lose a key card?
I don't think they
Yeah,
do.
they would have
Yeah,
10%.
that's a foldable card.
Nothing.
or a loss.
Nothing.
No,
No.
there's
There's
They
nothing
just
there,
change it.
agreements on some of them they put down to where if you don't bring it back key card, you're gonna be charged this, just like they do in a smoking room or non, that you're gonna
You
be
must
charged.
stay in
Never
better
seen that.
hotels than
Yeah,
I
he
do.
must.
Yeah.
I mean, I
What do you
go to
like-
Super 8.
What do you go to the Broadmoor down in like,
even the Hilton doesn't do that.
Really?
Yeah.
So,
Not any
Super
Hilton I've
eight.
ever stayed at, no.
Motel
well, you used to
six.
do it with keys.
Keys were different. Keys were different.
we'll leave the lights on for
Cards are cheap, I mean, they're
Yeah.
plastic, you buy them in bulk.
Yeah.
And that's the other reason I wanna get a system that will work with any type of card. The most expensive is what's gonna be is the lock itself, and then the code writer, basically. I mean, the cards are plastic.
What about the switch, because that panel's gotta control the switch inside.
Correct, I mean, yeah, that's
Where you have
that's
that
all
switch
part of
over.
that system.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Then you have the ability of a manual override if something doesn't work, where you can go in and just,
So then my question would be, if we don't know when we're gonna get all this information or the code reader or all this, are we really ready to raise the prices before we have all this?
oh, for the treated and stuff we have now, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Just
so
wanted to make
raise
sure.
it, there you
And until it's in place, there may be a little bit more work on you guys going down and unlocking the gate for, but like I say, it's gonna slow down.
Right.
And if we wanna direct them, oh, sorry, you're just gonna have to get treated, use our meter, they pay the bigger price. You know, until we get to where we go to the untreated.
Most of the guys I talked to said they would prefer being down there.
Yep.
It's,
I can
then
see
they're not
that.
going through town and everything else, and especially so far, we've had 5 or 6 guys that wanted to get water, and there was something going on at the fairgrounds and they couldn't, so they had to call me and I had to come back from town to take them down there. So,
Well, and if we have a water department person that's available, we can give her the number to go down on the gate too.
yeah,
We're gonna start metering sewer.
Oh, they, that's open.
No, it ain't.
It ain't gonna be.
I don't have a key. Jake.
we are gonna have to dig a ditch to put a drain field in, but I'm just gonna dump it off over the bank.
How much is that?
On the bulk water down there, we've gotta have some kind of drainage system. Or
Oh,
it's
for
gonna be just a
overflow.
huge, yeah, it's gonna be just end up being a huge mud hole.
Oh,
So,
I got some.
I wanna put a drain,
Make
just
some money on it.
kind of an old drain pit with gravel in it and
Yeah,
even 3-inch pipe. You just run over to that one bank, so it's not directly dropping into the creek, it'll still be getting filtered through.
right. A little
So,
containment pond and that
Right.
way it's good to go.
yep, I'm not sure, the expense on that or anything else yet, but we just gotta get the time to go down there and do that. And the pipe, I'm gonna just try to see what pipe we can scrounge up.
Well, we know we're gonna have to gravel more area down there, so we get the gravel in there, it'll take some of the mud hole away.
Right.
And it'll leach into the grass. So if that's not an immediate, the immediate is getting rock in there and smoothing it out, so.
Yeah, well, I'm afraid that water hitting on it's just gonna deteriorate our gravel. I don't wanna waste the gravel when we can go ahead and get that put in, at least part way in.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too worried, we got some 1.5 inch base course in there, it'll hold it, it'll be fine. So I think this will put us in good shape if we can get prices on that, so we can go to the next level. Idea. on
I'll have prices next meeting.
Okay, that being said,
As far as the fencing goes, I'm gonna have to just talk to somebody and work it out with Chuck and maybe bring a couple other guys in just temporarily to do that fence.
oh,
We're so far behind from.
get a
this.
price on fencing, and I think I have a guy too, that just did some fencing for us, some rapid at our rentals. Nice couple, husband, wife thing, very reasonable. So I'll look into that and have them come down and price this too.
I would like to do it, we just don't have the time.
Yeah, so we can look at that, and see what we can put together on that part of it.
Yep, if we get a couple bids, that'd be good.
Yeah,
Comparison.
if you know somebody else, then,
Yeah, I'll talk to Jim and see what he says, but he only has 2 days a week.
yeah, and I'll talk to this couple too, so. So then, do we wanna wait till next meeting to initiate this, or make a motion now? To raise all of these prices and then make them effective the end of July?
Or the 1st of August.
That would be a day apart, so we can go away.
Let's go. Let's start the month off right and go 1st day of August.
So who's making the
So is
motion?
that
I just
motion?
did.
Motion by Schumacher, second.
I'll make it.
Second by Brett. Any further discussion? There being none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. You girls were good with that? Because I didn't know if you had more thoughts too.
No.
We talked about it.
We did,
And we
I'm
said
good.
doubling is where we should be at. I don't, the precedences we had with the others, their water rates are cheap too.
Well, they have a lot more ways to have more income as well.
Yeah,
They're
we
not,
do.
they don't depend on just water and sewer.
They have
Okay.
more tax revenue.
Mm-hmm.
All right, if we're good with that, then we'll have the next, I'll see if I can get some fencing prices by then too. Have them come down, look at that, and see what we wanna do, and
Then I
maybe
can
price it, fence the perimeter of it, and then come across type situation too. We'll just have to look at where it's gonna be best for the radius and convenience for security, and where we're at on the door down there.
I'm gonna have to figure out some way to move that cement that's there, those slabs.
Wish I could have those.
Yeah, that was another bad egg that should have never ever been put in there.
That's, well, and then now, see, when we first went to game fish, because they were in charge of the creek, anything that went on the banks or in it. Well, now they're saying, and so is DNR, now they're saying they're in charge, and it's okay to put stuff on the creek bank as long as it's not down in and or affecting the flow. So if we can find a way to do that and or get some verification from somebody, because I keep getting it mixed up. We could just drag them over and right down and protect our old well. Because we're gonna lose it someday. If we
So today, the people that were here for inspecting weren't the ones that could look at that?
I don't know, I wasn't involved.
So that's another thing that I wished.
I didn't hear about it, didn't know.
It-
I did
might- that
not-
might have
I
been my
didn't,
fault. It was, yeah.
And I think that's
The-
something with the girls in their defense that we have mentioned in our meetings, and I want P and Z to be aware of it too, that everybody that is a department head, that when the girls contact or get a meeting like today with the A&R to inspect our lower well, that person in charge of that department is let know. Because Mr. Ferguson is a contracted contractor.
I know,
He
I'm
is
sorry.
not an elected official.
Yep.
And our elected officials need to know what's going on in these inspections.
That's
and what
not
we're
the
doing.
only reason either.
No,
It's
but that's
also-
part of it.
Yeah, that is part of it, yes. You know, getting opinions, having two people to say, yeah, this person said this or that. The
Yeah.
same reason I went down with my camera when the water was getting turned off down on Fairgrounds Place. We need that proof now. It's a different world we live in these days.
Well,
And
and it's
we-
a shame
we
for
have
the
to
girls.
be- We have to be careful. We have to be,
Right.
we have to take care of and,
Yeah, there needs to be at
the
least two
town,
people.
at least two people,
Two
yeah.
people. I mean,
Exactly.
you and I could have went down and checked it all out.
Absolutely,
Yes.
yes.
Exactly right. And that's why the more eyes on it within the circle,
Yep.
the better, on every element. So that's why the ladies, they have the backup then in the office. And anything that needs to be done in this town, looked at, leaks, any process. Mr. Ferguson's involved, but the department heads are involved too. They
Right.
need to be the ones contacted and say, hey, this is what we gotta do, or this is what we need to be aware of.
Somebody
So,
lose it. Right,
Oh, necklace?
yeah. There we
But
go.
yeah, it's, what I'm
Wow.
thinking is that, when they
Is
come
it
in
yours?
to go down to that lower water, they come straight.
What
in
else
on
did
the
you lose?
fence
I don't see
And
anything
make
else
their
on
swing
there.
and then fill
It
up
had a
and go
pendant
back
on
out.
it, didn't it?
You girls turn the heat on it.
That's where I
Yeah.
can't.
It is.
I think it'll stay looking neater than
Nice
having
catch.
it driving all over the place.
Okay. Anything further? All right, we're gonna move on then to item C, the DA&R award. That was quite an interesting day. The girls watched it here, and we're in circumstance where I believe Hendrickson and I don't know who all was here that day.
Chuck, Jill, Gail, and Vicky watched here on the set while Dan, myself, and Leah were actually at the meeting in Pier. And can I just, I'm talking now, can I just keep talking?
You got the tape, you got
I
the
got the
floor.
table. Okay, so this I will say, it was awesome, the doctor, and when I say the doctor, that is one of the board members. And he he said, it's a good project. The well project is a good project. And, so that made me feel way better, you know?
And so old,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
chairman.
yeah, exactly, right. They
And-
both did. They said it was a good project and then they didn't give us, they awarded us the loan money to do the project at a 1.625% interest, which is not the best. Some,
That's not bad either.
yeah, some people got better than that, but some people also got 2.2 or 2.5 or, you know. So we got middle of the row on that, and that's a very good thing. So I feel very, very confident in this project myself. And it is, of course, it always could have been better. We could have gotten a grant, we could have gotten a loan at 0% interest, but we didn't. And, but we did get a blessing. We got a blessing on the fact that it's a good project. And that to me was worth a lot,
And awarded.
yes.
They didn't defer it, they didn't stop it. We brought tables and charts to the meeting, basically showed them that the costs of regionalization versus our costs are less, with no grant money involved at all. And so that in itself, and what we did for questioning the board, I mean, I was up at early hours writing down what I was gonna talk about it, the whole thing. And when it came to it, and the questioning started, it changed the whole balance of where we were headed. I got everything in except for a couple items that I wanted to talk about, but they'd never been questioned. DNR had never been questioned as what we questioned them. That we put another element of fact into the whole situation.
And they thanked us, sorry Dan, every one of those members thanked us for being present rather than being on Skype or on, you know,
Zoom.
on Zoom. You know, and I understand that because most of them are our age-ish, you know? And, you know, we grew up shaking hands and looking at each other in the eyes and they all appreciated us being there.
It was certainly nice that they could watch them, others.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, I think that's awesome
Great.
too, yeah.
The whole thing is that when we got through it, the only thing that I regret, and I told Gail this, that I didn't say at the end of the conversation, was when there was more discussion, that I don't feel Southern Black Hills Water should have been able to speak at our application period.
Oh, they
Right.
did?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they should never have.
Why would
And they
they?
were, you could clearly see they were invited. And when we came back from break, there's this picture, and Linda looks at the picture and says, "What's all the blue on the screen? Where's that?"
I said, you got another office you're zooming in on here? And he says, oh, we got all kinds of offices in here. I don't know where that is. And I looked at it a little longer and I thought, I've been there before. I've been in that room. And I'm looking at it and thinking, where? Then I noticed the Native American art on the wall and the horse in the background. And I said, my God, that's Crazy Horse. I've been in that room. And so it was Southern Hills' meeting room.
That's the comment by Andy Brule.
Yep, and
What is it with Andy Brule?
In charge,
Just-
he's one of them involved, so he has that for staff to review, and he's in charge of staff. But that's where I wished I would have questioned them, because when they asked for more discussion, I wished I would have said, I feel since you've been brought new facts and figures, this should be deferred again, and the opportunity for us to be reapplied for more grant money in this application. Now, Leah was going to look at reapplying because they're going to have a special meeting in July or August.
Oh, great idea.
And so I
Did you
haven't
get
read
that
all.
email?
Pardon?
Did you get that email?
They're
okay,
not going to
so,
consider.
They're
it.
not?
no, absolutely not. It came in this afternoon.
Okay, so that tells us. So our next option is then we, of course, are applying to USDA. We don't know a timeline there. I know she was gonna ask Dylan about that also.
And when do you have to accept that? Is there a timeline on that if you accept,
Well, we need to
if you
ask
accept this?
that's-
DNR how long we have before we have to sign
Yeah, on the
or
dotted
make
line.
an agreement with them. So we need to ask Bill ask that question.
Okay,
Is Bill, hey, how long before we have to make the approval? Just the same as the sewer project.
okay.
Right.
The sewer project, I don't feel we'll put that into USDA. I think we're gonna keep that and use that because we got the 30% grant and loan on that one.
Exactly.
The water with full loan, I will go
Excuse me.
100% for full loan than I will regionalization, my opinion.
Absolutely, absolutely.
You know, because we're gonna be apple to apple. If we've gotta pay $84 a month minimum to Southern Black Hills Water for regionalization, plus $4 per thousand over $1 million, and if we go, like we average 1.4
Six.
on every month of our average, we're gonna pay $1,600 more a month just on that. And if we go to 1.8, that's $3,200, so we're paying 72 to 8,000. And I stated that in the board meeting at Pier and said, they're basically taking the cream off the top
Yeah.
of what we're doing to pay our bills
Yep.
and our ability to weigh. And I also said at Pier, then are you going to pay our bills? Are you gonna take these loans off? And we were told in a chuckling frame, no.
Yeah.
So they're not
So-
going to, we're still going to pay our DA and our
Even if we
USDA
went with
loans.
Southern.
Even if we went with Southern Hills.
And we still do our public works, we still do all our own line maintenance, we still do everything we're doing in presence now.
That
And
is,
pay them what we are in regionalization.
but that is one thing that I felt, and this is just my feeling, I have no proof on this, other than what I'll tell you in a minute. Southern Hills, their proposal, they made a big statement of saying that, well, then they won't have to pay public works. You know, so then we won't have that cost. Well, the fact of the matter is, we still have to have public works.
Yep.
Because we still have the pipes in the ground, we still have the meters, we still have to read the meters, we still have to send the billing, we still have to fix the leaks all throughout town. So that, and Dan mentioned that.
Yes,
Dan mentioned that to them, and they just flat ignored it. And I'm serious, they just flat ignored it. And that is part of the reason why I felt that we deserved another chance in front of the board, and that it maybe should have been deferred. But now they've said no, and that's fine, it's no, it's done. We know we have those costs, they truly know we have those costs. They know, they still would like to do regionalization, but they blessed us on the well, and they gave us the loan.
and I
So-
took it to another level on the WRT because they also at Southern Black Hills Water said, you don't take the 500,000 at Custer that you got for the WRT and let us use it, Andy Brule said.
Yeah.
Then we will match that and you won't have to worry about where you've got to hook up at. We will then bore the highway, we will then bring the infrastructure to you, we will then hook you up. But that also cripples us because we won't have the use of our other well.
Correct.
So then that takes that ability away, and that's one more step in their favoritism for the regionalization, that we
Well-
need that backup.
And I heard him say, well, then you can blend it if you want more. Well, we can't if we don't have a WRT system.
Right, exactly.
Exactly.
In order to blend it, we have to have that system.
Yeah.
They're just
In order-
good salesmen,
They-
that's
right,
all it
That's
is.
the
That's
card,
exactly
yeah.
right, yes. Mhm.
And then them being able to say, they made a statement of effect that they will have the ability to serve us with 275 gallons of water once they get their third well. And yet then he made a counter statement, Paul, Dr., well, how do you say that, Gail?
Gnurk.
Gnurk, from New Underwood said, how much does each well produce? 50 gallon a minute, Peterson said.
Yeah,
So where are you getting 270
Yeah,
out of 3 wells at 50 gallon a minute when it's 150?
salesmen. I'm
And-
telling you,
Get
that's-
what? Yeah.
Where are you
That's-
getting the water where your project is serving Spring Creek Doffenbach?
Yeah,
there is no anticipation for us. So in their own independent engineer study that Gail or Leah from ACES had, says they would have to drill a fourth well to be able to supply Hermosa for their peak.
And they haven't even put in application for that fourth loan yet.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
And I-
so they're way behind on schedule on that.
And we brought that
And we
forth. That
brought
was
that
all Leah's
out
bullet points.
also,
Right.
yes.
And all of theirs, they're still putting in the Indian Cara. Every well going down into the Indian Cara is contaminated.
Well, and that's what I said
Wow.
to Pierre, is that we worry about them drying the water off of them formations as hard as they are is gonna create more radiant problems for us pulling
And
out of
them.
our formation.
Right.
You know, and so there was so many points we brought forward to the board, and the board, at one point, Soholt, the chairman, said, maybe we should defer this. And I thought, oh, please do, man, we need more consideration on this. And staff said, no, we're comfortable where we're at, we feel we need not any more review. Regionalization is the only way we wanna go forth on this,
Yeah.
and this is our opinion. And they
Staff
were
is Zandy
hoping-
Brule.
Hoping
And,
they wouldn't give us
Yeah.
any of it.
Yeah.
No approval is what they were hoping. Only gumbo lily, nothing on the well or what we wanted for our future project is what the staff hoped. And the board,
that's the
as what she
impression that I
said,
got.
praised us and felt it was a good project for that portion of it. So that is huge on that aspect.
Huge, huge. That
So
just makes
we're
me
gonna pay-
smile, you know?
$80 more for water. And we have to pay $84 more for Southern Black Hills water,
For 5 years, and then it goes up.
You're right.
3%.
Yeah, and then it
Minimum.
goes up all the time.
Right.
Where our loan for our well will stay the
Stays
same, that will not increase.
And O&M, which could raise on what you are on that, could go 3% plus O&M. So it could be 7%
Right.
that raise could be, it could be 10%. There is not a guarantee.
Any excuse they wanna get, and they're gonna raise the price.
And I asked, what happens if they hit radium and they have to start treating? How is the effect going to be on us for that cost level then?
Right.
And there was no comment.
Of course not.
They wouldn't answer that. So there's nothing locked in.
Right. This way we are,
And then it's,
the repairs.
I had the hardest time keeping my tongue when they made the comment that we're in lawsuit with Hermosa. Southern Black Hills Water said that to the board, and I wanted to come back at them in the worst way.
Why are they bringing
And
that
did.
up?
They should not
It
have.
should not have.
No.
That
What
is
does
the
that
most
have to do with
unethical
that?
thing I had
Right.
ever seen in a meeting.
So
I couldn't believe it. I
unprofessional.
was shocked. I was just, are you really? Are you
You're
kidding
throwing it
me?
out there like we're criminals.
Yes, exactly.
And that's why when I looked over at Aces, I looked at Linda, and it's like their tone was, no,
Yeah.
back away from it.
Don't
Be
do
the
it,
better
Dan. Don't
person.
do it, Dan.
Don't dive, because I was heavy. The defending of what we do for our Hermosa. I want to look in the mirror 5 years from now, 2 years from now, 10 years from now, and know that we battled for Hermosa for the right reason, for the right purposes. And I said at the
For
end
our
of the meeting,
citizens.
for our citizens, for the survival of Hermosa is what this project's all about. Anybody that wants to go to regionalization, I want them to be able to look the people of the public in the face in 5 years or 3 years and say, I supported that. And as that rate is up, double what we are.
$250 a
And it
house for
will.
water or something.
Yeah, it will.
I mean, they've proven that. We
Oh,
proved
yeah.
that
Already
they
have
proved
that
that.
statistics.
Yeah,
We've
it's
shown
already
that.
happening down there where my son put
Exactly.
their water line in down there by Hot Springs.
Exactly.
Sorry.
You owe us donuts.
So
Yeah,
our decision is going to be based, and I want everybody here to be able to know what went on. And that's the most accountability of these boards, is that everything is open, always has been open, and it's going to be more open. And we are looking at the USDA side of it. We're going to see what that aspect of that decision is going to be before we make a decision to accept this.
If we can.
Correct. And then Bill Lass, if Gail gets a report from him on how long we have before we have to sign sewer or water, on them applications, with where we're at, is huge on that part of it too. And then that way, we can then as boards, make the educated decisions as we're doing all our homework and review with our engineer that we need to make these decisions on, because they're some of the most important decisions for the town of Hermosa, for the future of Hermosa, that we're going to be making here.
Right.
So I want all the numbers, all the research, all the answers that we can gather before we make them decisions.
When you guys were at the meeting, though, we were talking and we got Leah's, I don't know the word, but her pamphlet on the sewer stuff. And I don't think it's even close. She put both part of Gumbo Lily stuff on there and then a bunch of stuff on the lagoon. And it's not right, can't be. I think there's 8 manholes. Okay, that would have to be up on Gumbo Lily. We need some kind of a separation there.
Chuck was supposed to review all these plans and
That's
had
what we
all
were
the
doing.
plans before these applications were even going anywhere. He was given them, once again, he was given them 2 months before for all his review.
And I didn't see him.
That's why I say, she went over every base with him on every aspect. And if there was any questions that needed to be brought out before, he was fine with it. No situations. The 12th hour stuff is my biggest problem I've had for the last 20 plus years. That-
Hopefully that'll come to an end now, because I get both sides, so.
And that's why the review of the north section line and what we did for there was the same way. Any comments were 2 months ahead on that situation. So,
I apologize for me not being in there, but now I will be, so that'll help.
so that's where we're at on the DA&R stuff. And we'll have more gatherings on that as we go through. You'll all get informed. And Gail likewise, and the sewer project, if we have a deadline when we gotta sign that one, we've already got approval and abilities to do that and move forward with signing that into effect. And I made the comment up here too, because Linda and Aces really kind of tried to keep me on a tight chain because of where I go with stuff. And I was disappointed because in regionalization, and Gail and I have had this conversation many times, and she's just as disappointed. We felt we should get more monies because we were qualified for 80% grant for regionalization. We're taking on a housing development with possibly 200 homes, possibly 40 here, possibly another 200 out at Negabowers, and not to mention what Gary's doing, that we're trying to take and regionalize here. We should have qualified for that 80%. The only ones that qualified for 80% were the 2 rural water systems, and they got 80%. Everybody else, all other communities didn't. So I made that comment too at that DA&R meeting, that we should have been more qualified for that, looking out for our future. And they asked for how long ahead that we were looking at the regionalization, or the well aspect. I said 10 to 20 years is what we're looking at for our purpose. And they asked, Paul asked me, because he was involved, and questioned us on our well rehabilitation when we closed all them cavities off for the radium up there, of what the outcome was of that. And we said it helped, it brought us almost within legal limits, but we lost flows. And so we had to reopen zones, but we opened up zones smartly. And so now we're at 160 gallons a minute with the 2 wells.
Oh, yeah, with both of them.
And so we have that ability for them and the backups is what we needed. And then I said, and then the Madison would be the one with a tower to give us the abilities for the future to also have that. So we have backups and our main up here to serve development and take the loads off of everything that we're doing. And I said it gives us our own treatment facility there, our own containment all the way through. So that's what also hurt on the regionalization, why they blessed it. And I said, you know, also in this, we looked at our due diligence when we came into this project with the original engineer study. We were over $6 million. We went to bids on the engineering and we cut that by 50%. We cut that in half, that's $3 million. I said, we're showing as a community that we're being smart about our projects. We're trying to do the best we can. And that's why we feel we do not want the regionalization. We want to stand on our own 2 feet. I said, we got stomped in '07 with the flood, and it hurt all of our development chances that were going forward, as many of you on the board remember. And I said, and now we're there again. With the pandemic and what has happened, we are in the four corner, where we go to Denver, we go to Mount Rushmore, we go to the Badlands, we go to Rapid City. I said, we are in a four corner. We're going to grow. So, I mean, I think we got a lot of comment, I mean, in
We
that
did.
period, and they didn't hold us to 5 minutes. They
No,
let us
no.
go.
Way
Well,
over
no,
that,
well,
yeah.
for one thing, they had questions, you know. So then, basically, about every question they had, then they added another 5 minutes, you know. So we got a lot of discussion in there. Dan did very well, Leah did very well, and,
And you wanted to stand up and
I
beat the drum a few times
Yeah.
on comments.
yeah. I
So you
did.
guys had to pretty much watch each other. I see.
Okay. It was close.
Who's gonna watch you two though?
I guess maybe I'll
We're
have
going
to
next
go.
time.
Yeah, Brett, you
It was
can
very
go.
interesting, so.
I guess if each person gets 5 minutes, when we need to do that, we just all go.
Yeah, every one of us, that's good.
Take our 5 minutes, yeah.
That's good.
Okay,
Uh,
next statement, we'll keep everybody pointed the direction on where we're going, is D on Roy's drive-in letter. Everybody reviewed that
On
on the engineered letter that was sent.
It's not in the packet.
it's not in the packet.
Okay, I was gonna
No,
say,
no,
I haven't seen
I
it.
sent it by email.
Yeah.
But
to everybody.
Dan, now that I'm just thinking about that, I think, can we just hold it a few more days until the 5th the meeting of the 5th? Because I'm not sure if Mitch has okayed that yet.
Okay.
No, really.
And it says right in here, with the engineers, or not engineers, the attorneys. I just saw it.
So any of you
I-
get it on your email?
I did,
Yeah.
You don't do email.
You did?
yeah.
I sent it to
You
the
were
I
board,
was confused
not planning and zoning, it's to the board.
until Gail brought me up to speed, because I was under the assumption that every business was required to have facilities to be used. And so why the hell am I getting a letter asking for permission for this? That's why I was confused. So, yeah, it's,
And the
I
condition
can't
on
believe they
it,
don't have facilities.
it was a situation on that where the development down below, we thought the infrastructure was going to be put in a different fashion. And didn't, with the phases that they had down there, and then the pandemic hit, slowed everything down. So within the consequences of what happened there, he has been on a holding tank all of this time. And the ability to pump that holding tank as he does. And so the state now has also said, we need to get you on a system.
Yeah,
And so that's why the letter went out to say, okay, this is what you're going to have to do per engineer standard
yeah,
to go down, and it's gonna have to be an extension of the main. The developers down there have said, you know, we don't have a problem helping Royale. And we've done easement, but the easement has to be when the main infrastructure is put in for this next phase.
yeah.
And so with that, if he has to put in that infrastructure now, it could cost him $30,000 to do that extension of the main and bring his line over to do what is required, put in a manhole and make it a legal situation if they do not do that next phase.
Correct.
So then in conversations with the developer, what we have said is, hey, okay, then in that circumstance, if you contribute whatever, 20,000, 30,000 towards the developer to help put that infrastructure in, it's going to save you time, money, and
Yeah.
not have you come all the way down to the end of the drive-in, tie into our main, set the manhole,
Yeah,
go in.
exactly.
You'll come right out of your building straight into that main line then, and actually be a more effective cost.
Yeah.
So I called Roy and told him this letter is going to be coming. And expressed, it's not a threat, All it is it's a legal paper trail so that you're aware of what we are required to do and what you will be required to do if development doesn't happen.
What did he say?
And Roy said, okay, I will be awaiting that letter. And then when that letter gets to him, and that's been 3 weeks ago
Yeah.
that I talked to him. And so he is on the understanding, we're not threatening you, we're giving you legal recourse of what's going to be required for you
Right.
to hook up if that phase does not happen and be able to adjust to state standard.
Yep. Well, and that's the only reason I was confused was because I assumed they already had facilities down there because technically you're required to.
Yeah.
So, and then Gail explained it to me, I was like, okay, I never mind. So, yeah, now it makes a whole lot more sense and it's gotta be done.
Because that day we met with Roy, we met with Poulis, we met with Marv Negebauer, Stan Negebauer, and Chuck, were all down there and went over everything that needed to be happening and what we were trying to accomplish and to make sense for the development. And there was times at that change where they wanted to buy more land from Roy's to be able to make the other side of that development where they could put 2 sets of homes in there. Right now, the way it is, they'll only be able to put 1 set of homes. That didn't happen. Then they wanted to buy corners from Roy to be able to put homes there and offset costs of what it would cost to put that infrastructure in. That didn't work. So now it's down to the level of they are ready to push to the next phase out there and run the infrastructure out rather than doing this phase since it's only single homes.
Correct.
Well, then Roy is in a timeline that he's gonna need to hook up or the state's gonna come down on him if there's not an answer.
Yep.
So we're trying to get
Yeah.
that accomplishment done and still make it attractive to the developer. If the developer is gonna get a 25,000 contribution from him and put towards that, then they very well may do that phase
Correct.
and save on that whole circumstance, and that's where we were at. That's why when they were trying to buy land, it would have been like a $50,000 buyout, and then the sewer would have been in part of that condition. And that's what also was brought out there. I mean, we
That was
covered
kind of a,
all the bases.
I would have thought would have been a better,
Yeah.
cheaper fix for Roy. Granted, he'd have lost a little land out of the deal, but it would have been, but you know, it's his property, it's his decision. I am truly amazed that DNR is not shutting down.
Yeah.
This has been how many years now?
Oh, geez.
3 going on 4,
Oh, it was longer than that, isn't it?
I've been here 4. It was way
so
before
it's 4
that.
going on 5.
Or 6.
4 going on 8.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, it's been a long time, so.
Yeah.
I would
But-
say, when did he open? And I'd say a year after that.
Right, exactly, and I don't know when that was. But it was, seems like it's been a long time, been available to.
I don't see how he's been able to keep it that way for that long.
That's
Like,
what I'm saying.
How?
Yeah, I don't know.
Just with the holding tank and the pumping, and there hasn't been any violations. You know, if there had been a violation brought against him in some sort of circumstance, then there would have probably been more review on it. So,
Not having public facilities is a violation.
he has public facilities, but it goes into a
Holding
cistern,
tank.
a holding
Ah,
tank. And then
okay.
he's gotta have that pumped by
Yeah,
Hills or
he
He's
whoever.
got a septic tank, he's got a septic system.
He doesn't have a
Correct.
leach field though.
Yeah, correct, it's
just-
not, yeah, no, I get that, I understand.
And state law, he's within our infrastructure
Not within
limits
400.
of property
Okay.
line
Right.
that he has to be required to hook in.
Yeah,
The
okay.
state's been aware of that the development's been going on, the infrastructure didn't get put in as fast as what they had anticipated
Correct.
because lot sales slowed down.
Well, that and the pandemic and everything else, I mean, yeah,
Right.
that's, no, okay.
Having that main run further out is a lot, lowers the maintenance and upkeep on us and chance of something happening. The mains are a whole lot stronger than what all the taps are and the incoming lines.
Right.
So I should have been obviously more prepared, but I do not, I'm sitting here thinking now, I do not remember, Mitch, this last line in this paragraph says, the town attorney is authorized, empowered, and directed to collect this amount either by the foreclosure of the lien or by a suit against the owner of occupant or occupant of premises. I don't know if you guys could just make the motion that we send this upon Mitch's approval.
We'll just have it pending until our next meeting.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I'll bring it in
deal
on
with
the
it then.
5th.
Everybody's
Okay.
aware, but P&Z's good with it, on as far as it going forward, and knows the content. The board can act on it and initiate it at our
Okay.
next board meeting.
All right.
Good with all?
Yeah.
Okay. E was the trustee signature on bank account.
I need 2 motions. I need a motion to approve to put Linda on, and I need a motion to take Robert
Mr.
King
King
off.
So I have that motion.
I'll make the motion, we,
Thomason makes the motion, do I have a second by Schumacher on as far as removing Mr. King first?
We can do it
Is that
both
what
at the
you were
same
gonna
time,
say?
can't you?
that is what I was gonna say, but
They usually want separate at the bank.
Yeah, let's do, yeah, we need
Yeah,
separate.
so the minutes record that.
W-
So the first one is to remove
Remove
to
Mr. King.
remove Robert King, and then the second would be to
Well, let's, you
We
want
do one at a
Yeah,
time.
you do one, yeah,
Individual.
okay.
First motion to remove Mr. King, like I say, by Thomason, second by Schumacher. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Next one is Thomason and Schumacher again to have the signature note by Kramer.
Yes, I'll second that.
Since
Are you trying to
wanted
speed this up or what?
Since they both wanted to do both, I figured we'll just go with that as
Conrad.
separate.
Yeah.
Alright,
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
I
Motion
don't know, should
carried.
I abstain on that one?
Mhm.
No, well,
No,
Okay,
no,
whatever.
that's,
if you
Either
abstain,
an
that's fine.
abstain or yes, it doesn't matter, whatever.
okay,
It just seems like my
Abstention
name's
will be
on it,
good.
and I
Okay.
should abstain on it.
okay,
Yeah, it would definitely be the conflict.
Yeah.
Yes, it would be a
Okay.
So
conflict.
the abstention is good.
okay.
Okay, Thank
When
you.
we remove the carport, of course, that'll be on the next permit because the individual was very tardy. Not on
Negligent,
top of
getting
his
on
game.
I'll tell you
Didn't
that.
have the permit covered properly, not the correct drawings, so shame on him. Item 4 is trustee input. Kramer,
Alright, put me first. Well, the meeting was good, thank you, everybody. And I have something I would like to kind of discuss, and we can't discuss it no motions, but I would like everybody to think about it and decide when we should discuss it, and that is, Public Works. And the reason being there is, Chuck's getting tired. And not feeling well quite often. And I think we need to really look to the future of what our plans are to fix this problem.
in a
And-
positive way.
Well, absolutely in a positive way. I'm not, there's nothing, we hope that he isn't around for another 10, 20 years to remind us where this is and that is and tell us his funny jokes and call us funny names. But that being said, as a board, it is our responsibility to make sure that this town is taken care of. And that is one thing that I think we need to discuss, whether we need to have a
Work session.
work session on it. I know that Chuck is training you and that's wonderful, and what I don't know is if you're willing to go to the school and all that, and I don't want an answer right now. I'm just saying these are things we need to know and we need to discuss.
And I can answer some of that. I and Jill are working on right now the GPS stuff,
Mhm.
so that, and when I get time, I'm going to try to, I've already talked to Rushmore and a couple of the other people that have got stuff in town, the power company and the locators. I want all of it on there. Where it crosses, I mean, everything. That way, if we're not here, you can walk out with the tablet and the little handheld thing and say, it's right here. So we don't, I and Chuck don't have to be here for that.
We appreciate that, we'll let her continue with her
So
trustee
that's-
input
that is-
and come back, because we can discuss that stuff in the work session itself.
Right.
And
My point is that I think that we need to schedule a work session or at least discuss this. And I don't know if Gail would appreciate having that done before budget time. If
No,
there's
there's no
anything,
way.
no way. I guess we are already almost
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
aren't we?
Yeah.
Man, this summer's going fast. But anyway, that is my input and that's all. Thank you.
Shimon,
Well, Chuck, welcome to the crowd. Hope you have fun.
Thomason,
You ready to go back to P and Z?
I want to thank everyone for your support with me moving over from P&Z to Board of Trustees. I have thoroughly enjoyed it. I have thoroughly enjoyed the extra responsibility, and I look forward to just working with all of you and putting my best foot forward and helping make this town a lot better.
thank you. Does any P and Z members have more input after this?
No, just a very good meeting. Would have been nice to
We're
heading in
closer.
the right direction.
No,
Yeah.
totally. Thank you.
I guess I'd like to thank everybody too, especially putting up with what mistakes I make and all your support through everything.
Oh, I do have a question, Gail. Do you have the book that Orly brought back?
That Orly what?
Brought back, the P&Z book?
Did she bring one back?
Yeah.
Yeah. But we need to get it updated. So you thinking about giving it to Chuck? I need to update
Well,
it.
yeah, definitely update it, get it to him, because I've given him copies there, but there again, it's not necessarily updated. But
Okay.
it's a start.
Okay. Yep, I have that.
I'm a little slow, so.
Hey. It's to be.
You're interested. You're willing to learn,
Yep.
and that is the most important thing right there.
You're gonna
And-
make mistakes.
Yes, exactly. I mean, just is. And I appreciate that you've stepped up and volunteered.
Thank you.
See, the good thing about P and Z is you really can't make a mistake, because it's gotta go to the board, and if they approve it, it's their mistake, not ours.
Oh, boy. We know where he sits, don't we?
And you gotta go home with it.
Meeting too. I think that helps both of us out, having this joint meeting once in a while like this.
Further, any comment from any of the others?
Well, I was gonna, with the way the world is now, I think you really need to look for making that maintenance a city employee, maybe not this year, but with the Suhafi Society and all the shit that's going on. I think that, Chuck's position needs to not be a contract and it needs to be a city employee. So something that, like I said, you maybe not ready for it in the budget this year, but it probably needs to be coming before too long. Just like I was telling Monty spraying mosquitoes, that there's probably a few places he don't want to go this year, so.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We've
So,
done our research on everything and in our past too on that stuff, but any more input on
no,
Gail?
I do, and I should have had this in the packet last week, but there's an elected officials workshop coming up in Pier on the 13th of July. I don't know if you're able to go to that and or
That's our
Linda.
budget.
Oh, that is the budget.
That's our budget.
That is.
Is
Good-
it 1 or
good
2
point.
days or?
It's one night. It's wait a minute. The one-day training is packed with sessions that will be valuable to newly elected officials. So it's probably during the day. Our meeting's at night. You probably wouldn't. And we start with expenses, don't you usually start expenses on the first night?
Because we're 11th, 12th, 13th.
No, we're
No,
13th, 14th, and 15th. Good point, I never even, just,
And that is, it's really good for a new person to go to.
Okay.
It truly is. And it's, I highly
do you want to
recommend
press
it.
that on?
I'm sure Dan would highly recommend it. I'm sure Vicky would highly recommend it.
Does it cost anything?
No.
The
Other
city.
than
I-
room and mileage for you to
Yes.
go down. That we pay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And if not, with the budget set as what it is, then it's a matter where there are more training classes that come on
Mhm.
later in the year too, that are in the fall,
Mhm.
when session goes back in the legislature, that they have really good
Mhm.
sessions also. So this isn't, it's a good one, but there's some really good ones in the fall.
Yeah.
Okay.
The municipal league has their annual conference, it's a week long.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, it's up in the northeast part of the state this year, so it's quite a bit of a travel, but,
And then also like, if we have any meetings that have to fall on a Wednesday, as long as I have a week's notice, I can move my trip to Casper to a different day. So I am absolutely flexible with that, as long as I know a week in advance, I just let them know. So,
Good.
yeah, I am
And
absolutely
generally,
flexible.
we're pretty much where if we're gonna have something, there will be enough notice, so.
and if it's a special meeting and you can't attend, it's not like you're,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
No, I
you-
understand.
You remember that one, yeah.
But yeah, I just want y'all to know that although it is my job, it's, luckily I make my own hours and do all of that, so I am absolutely flexible with what I can and can't do, so.
Thank you. Thank you all. I can't say enough about next meeting then that we're gonna have, will be definitely the concrete ordinance, DA and an R update on the project portion of it. It'll be a special meeting again, of course it's paid for our efforts of putting in there. We'll have the public works planning on that agenda when we do that also.
Oh, you're not talking about July 5th, you're talking about the next work session?
Correct. The next P and Z meeting, that will also incorporate a special meeting, that will give us the abilities to talk about all of what we have here
So you'll have another board meeting after the planning and zoning meeting?
with P and Z. I want them involved in every one of these sessions, that we are making them decisions, especially if we're gonna have the future planning of public works, and that way that conversation can happen at that meeting. It needs to open that discussion now, what we're figuring, what we're planning, what we're looking at in the future of that. So,
So,
then we'll
and
all be involved in that.
could you
session.
just verify how that's paid? Can we get
What's
that?
that?
Is this 2 meetings for her tonight, 2 meetings for him?
I consider it one meeting for all, if that's okay with you guys.
Yeah, that's,
That way everybody
That's
gets
fine.
paid for their time here as a meeting,
1 meeting,
correct?
okay.
I mean, that's, unless somebody doesn't think that's fair, but we did.
No, I
I
Fine
think
with
that's
me.
perfect. Set this time for the meeting.
There's no advantage to it, and it's all, we're
Okay.
here anyway, and that's
Okay.
why we're trying to be conservative about it.
Okay. So the next meeting of planning and zoning, which is the 12th,
Oh, so we'll have meetings all week.
you're gonna have meetings all week long?
12th, 13th, 14th, and
I'm gonna ask to be taken away from that meeting then, because I'm gonna be getting ready for,
Which is fine.
for the
But if we
budget
have
meeting.
anything else that comes up, it's nice having that ability, like this one, to add it to that agenda.
can we have Jill for the whole night then?
Correct.
To record minutes?
She
and
can
things?
handle it,
Okay.
that's quite fine. Okay? And
And
I,
are, so I'm sorry.
and
Are
I wanna
you gonna be
finish
able to
up.
handle? Or, not handle, but I mean, that's taking time away from, I mean, I know you usually work all night long, so that's 4 nights in a row that you'll be here rather than at your business.
Is there any way you can just postpone that until your next planning and zoning, which is the 26th? Is it
Well, the
just?
concrete ordinance we wanna get finished up.
Well, you could do the concrete ordinance on the 12th. And then,
So if we're here and we're going through it, we just as well, I mean,
Well, I would like to be part of that meeting of the Public Works, but if that's fine. I just was thinking that 4 nights for meeting for you guys is,
I don't, I don't see any reason that it couldn't be put off till the second meeting,
Okay?
the concrete ordinance.
No,
the whole thing,
the Public Works discussion
or the whole thing, it doesn't matter.
to the next,
I mean,
That agenda onto the
second P and Z.
yeah.
the 26th. 26th.
Yep,
I think it would be better anyway. In my opinion, if you're gonna be doing budget meetings, there's a lot of research you need to do there too. And I don't see how you can have time to research everything on that and still come with any kind
Yeah.
of opinions on this. It all takes research to know what works and what doesn't.
yep, I like that. That's what these are all about. The opinion of the board members to make them decisions, so we do it in a comfortable state and a prepared state. Do the right research and make it convenient for all. So that's a win-win. So I can't say enough about these board members, these department heads, that I appreciate all that are willing to put their hat in the ring for public service. Public service here is a lot more demanding than many people realize. And the efforts and labor that go into it are more than what people realize, that aren't willing to take their time away to put forth to that. So I appreciate all of you and on what you're doing for the future of Hermosa. Chip seal on 5th Street, I can't say enough about how that went, and disappointments in what happened all the way through, and I had this conversation with Jill that in the very beginning of this project, I stated every project we've ever done, that we need to get ahead of that project is what we've stated in project after project after project. Otherwise, we as a board and town end up paying the consequences for that project because it isn't, and it's allowed to be lax on the requirements of the project. I went into that project fully wanting them to repay 5th Street for us for the abandonment of our street, and also cost share the other streets around our school so that we could have had them all paid. And of course that didn't happen. Now we're into a consequence where we come to chip seal this, and at the final of where we were at, the developer up there, the contractor, as we had a meeting, and Gail and I have discussed this thoroughly, didn't want to budge an inch to do any more on that project than what we did. And we wanted more notice, and we get a notice a day before, the day of, that Iron Horse is showing up today, and that we are going to have chip seal today, and that if we don't have our part ready, then it is our fault. So I dropped
Wow.
everything on my schedule to come down here and spent from 10 o'clock until 10:30 that last night to finish that project up. Not that I want a pat on the back, but a disappointment. And one comment, what was that comment that was said? Please.
He said, I'm going to leave the road as it was. I am not going to make it better.
And
What's the
so,
point of chip sealing?
right, I walked the contractors, and it's the unprofessionalism that shocked Gail and I, because here are 2 young gentlemen from Simons here on this project to do their job.
Yep.
And they get drug into a drama of a situation of that nature, I thought was very unprofessional. And I wanted to make sure that because of certificate of occupancy, that road was brought back to the presence it was prior to, which it was a good road
It was.
prior to construction. And they were not going to do that. They were going to seal over the spalding, they were going to seal over the dips, the cracks, and not do anything. And that's when he walked away after his disappointment and said, I'm done, and got in his truck and left. as we were walking with Simons and saying, am I wrong? And having corrections done here. And I tried to have that conversation with Iron Horse this morning about what they were going to do and if they were going to water this material as well as steel roll it into place so that we had a binding. And no, they didn't bring any water. They were gonna steel reel it and that's it, which that broke down today on them, so that didn't get all done. And then I'm in conversation all day in the middle of a sod job, at my job, with Simons, thank God, telling them that we needed a different oil, which Mark Wiley, thank God for him, put a different oil on for our binding and rejuvenation oil, stopped him from brooming it, which would have broomed everything off that we did on that job, and wished I would have went another step farther and spread the millings myself and watered the millings myself and compacted to make a better situation on that street. And then Sam from Simons to call me 4 times today and give me his feelings of what he needed to do and go above and beyond the steel wheel with their wheel and not broom it and not broom the chips off when they're done and do an extra seal on that to try to give us the best job they could and go to the width of the sidewalk, which Dean Kurtz was not willing to do and not to help us out, and then maybe to try to seal around on Bilas up at the top, which Dean Kurtz was not going to do, and then to where their curb and gutter comes off of that parking lot and is rutting our side of our sidewalk out, was not willing to do any more there. Not willing to put in another asphalt barrier of a strip down there to create the drainage from washing that out. It's not gonna go any farther there. Any of the spalding on Bila Street was not gonna go any farther on that. His whole conversation was 13 foot each sideline from middle of road, 26 foot, that's all we're doing, and that's all we're going to do on this project. This is the worst community I have ever worked for, and the most problems I've ever had with a community, and I'm not going any farther. That was his statement with Gail and I there. And it's like, what a horrible disappointment. And that was in front of the Simons gentleman while we were there. And then that's when he went and got in his truck and left.
Was there a contract on this project?
Yes.
What is, are they at fault anywhere? Is there
Well,
anything we
if
can
we
do
don't accept
legally?
the street, we still don't have to give them a certificate of occupancy. If we don't feel that it is where it is, I brought pictures out that Gail had printed off, that we took of ourselves before this project started, and said, this is all we want back. It was alligatored in a few spots, but it was a good street. We had pictures of the middle, the end, the top, and then we had pictures of the whole segment of it.
Do they
Yeah.
think after 2 years of driving their construction trucks over it, they
Yeah,
have done no
exactly.
damage?
Oh.
It's kind of what he
So-
said.
Oh my
He said
gosh.
there was other
I mean,
people that were using it
They
too.
were the only ones
Yeah.
using it except for people that lived there.
So we don't give them a
Yeah, well,
certificate of
school.
occupancy?
I want with the certificate of occupancy to give it to them on condition that
Correct.
if that road, under a 1-year guarantee, does not stand up to the conditions of where it was, they have to have the responsibility to come back and fix that.
Yep.
We have gotten the cold shoulder from Mr. Noggle over this because we've been trying to get on their agenda for a sign permit. They will not until they get a certificate of occupancy. He put that in an email in
I
that
do not
consequence.
think that that would be legal.
It's
It'll
not legal.
block you from being on
After he
the
talked-
agenda if you request it.
And he talked to the board president and vice president, and they agreed that we also have had then Dean Kurtz that has been upfront about that on that
We
situation.
need to contact the ethics committee, because that, it's not legal, that is unethical.
It is.
What?
Neither here nor
Request
there
to be on
on
the
that
agenda.
situation,
Get
all I
your-
want
get on.
is a final on the certificate of occupancy that we get what we want. And when we brought that up in the very beginning of this contractual, when Dean Kurtz and all of them were liking us and nicey till they got to the point of where they were able to get their contract in place, they promised us $100,000 in permit fees in the very beginning, and we got 47,000, which I brought up to him. It was gonna be 100,000.
And that was when it went kind of south.
Yeah, and in circumstance then too, when I brought up about the street and how we had not done any concessions there, he said, that wasn't for us, that was for the constituents of the tax-paying area. And it's like, really? So, everything that we had gotten from this individualism was what I had said in the very beginning that I tried to head everybody on the board off on, was why we need to be so upfront about everything. It's done, it's over. All we can do is try to hold some accountability for that street. And as far as what we did above and beyond on that street, should have never been, it should have been all on their quarter. But my commitment to this community has always been for the community. And that's why in them circumstances, it's been a very big disappointment.
So you spent 12 and a half hours there yesterday working on that, trying to prep it so that they would do it.
Yeah.
Proper.
We can't put any, we can't discuss any, or we can discuss it, but we can't make any actions there.
Exactly.
But one of the things, I think you want to have that on July 5th about the certificate of occupancy for, okay,
That was my comment tonight.
okay. And then, for,
12 and a half hours?
we're gonna put that on the agenda to pay Dan for that.
What's that?
You need
For
to
your
be paid for
time.
that.
12 and a half hours you put in yesterday.
I worked for Miller Construction. We were going to do that, and Miller Construction was going to do that. The man had just started a job in Custer Crossing. I called him, and he stopped at Sugar Shack and was gonna turn around and come back. He's put this job off, and he's put work off for us in this community because I've asked him to in the past.
So is that what you're doing? You're gonna pay Miller Construction that,
Miller Construction will be the one. It'll be a lot less than what that bid was because of what I did and did as a two-man show to put it together with one of my employees. And we used the town's millings instead of buying millings. I did everything I could do to conserve cost over there and cut that bid in half. And I believe I did that. So it'll be billed through Miller because I don't want the discrepancies to come through and say, you know, we had a bid from Miller and that's where we're at. He was gonna turn around and come back and I said, you can't do that. You're on a contracted job yourself. You know, so it's a matter where the circumstances of it, we'll have that discussion at the next meeting.
okay,
We'll have that discussion as far as the certificate of occupancy. And then the discussion we had about the leak test up on the hill. I'm hoping Mr. Ferguson will get to that.
Get there in the morning.
Because when I hear a comment that you can find somebody else if you can, I can. I have another individual, which is Miller Construction again, that Mr. Schaefer made the comment, he would do it next week. If we can't get it to where Mr. Ferguson can do it, it isn't anything for a circumstance of to take the work away or be in a position. It's an important position that needs to happen, and it's once again for the community. So
he said it, Chuck said it. He said to me, if they wanna find somebody else to do it, they can find somebody else to do it.
Yeah,
So if he can't do it, we will, I will.
No buts, he said it.
yeah, but I'm gonna try to be up there in the morning. I got the backhoe freed up now, it's leaking oil again, but that's, our biggest thing is getting it fully located and then, 5 hours and it's in.
I mean, I didn't try to start anything, I just was trying to relay the information that was what I was told.
And part of that is communication to the departments. Each one of these departments, in my opinion, is always going to be aware of this. On every department that we're on, every circumstance we're on. That's why I brought you up to speed on the roads and what happened there. That's why we're doing what we are in the water. I am one that gets stuff done. I am one that fixes stuff. And I am one that looks out for everything for the purposes of the community. Always have, always will. And if somebody can't get to a position, I can make that position happen. I have enough people in that loop that are gonna treat us fair, do us fair, at a reasonable cost, and that are qualified. So if we can't do it within means and it has to be done, it isn't a threat or something to take away from somebody, it's because it may save them the headache, or it may save them what they're doing in their purpose also. So I'm just letting this board know that's how I operate, always have operated, always will continue to operate. And I taken great pride in putting this community where it is for all the years that I've been involved, and drop a lot of stuff of my own to be here. Just like tomorrow, we have a commissioners meeting to go over what we have on as far as the ARPA money that we're trying to get for the WRT, as well as the annexation, and did they get that all
The
verified?
annexation's not on, and the ARPA money is not on there. That's,
Really?
no, it is not
So
on.
it's a
The only thing
meeting
that's
and-
on there is law enforcement.
So that, you know, there are items that are all involved, and so involvement of members that can attend these things to stay up on them are huge. And, you know, it's a disappointment in where we're positioned and what's happening, and where the ARPA money emails have been going back and forth. I'm just,
So we need to
Beyond
put on the
belief.
agenda the next commissioners meeting
Again.
For the
for the
annexation.
annexation and the,
And maybe you can pull Todd Fish aside tomorrow and say what is really going on. I mean, you got, P&Z didn't get the email, but the Board of Trustees got the email from Todd Fish. And if you need to be brought up on that, we'll be happy to do that. But Todd Fish is working over there. He's a veteran services person, and they've put him in on the ARPA funds over in Custer County. And that was where that email came from.
I saw the email.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
and lastly, for me, thank you girls for all that you do and for what you put forth in this office. You go above and beyond, between the two of you, to the expectations that we have, to the changes that happen, to the obstructions that are thrown in every day, and still go above and beyond. And so that's part of this chain of command, the communication that goes. If you don't get a hold of me, you go to the head of water, you go to the head of sewer, you go to law enforcement, you go to streets,
That's right.
you go to whomever in the P&Z, to whatever it is, that they are communicated with anything that happens, whether it's rural water coming in here, DA&R coming in here, any meeting that's set up with Mr. Ferguson better be doggone well told to water sewer on these departments. That has to happen. That has to happen for this board to work together, to be independent, to be opinionated, and do the best decisions we can for this community. I cannot say that
also for
strongly.
the safety.
The strength,
The safety
correct,
of our employees and our citizens.
correct.
really.
It's all a team that's working well together and gonna get better. Motion to adjourn at 8:03.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second that.
Thomason makes that, Kramer seconds it, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you all for
Um,
your attendance